Hi, you might remember this fella, Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, a classic movie. And halfway through it, Bill Murray started waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Sonny and Cher would be on the radio. I've got you, babe. He'd walk down the stairs, have the same conversations with the same people, walk out onto the street, bump into this friend from school, Ned Flanders, you hadn't seen for years. But then he'd wake up the next morning and Sonny and Cher would be on the radio. So that he was stuck in the same day and it kept repeating. And sometimes in business we use that as a kind of a metaphor for maybe, starting the year, setting goals, and maybe if you don't hit them, starting the next year with the same goals. And I'm going to tell you a story about a guy in one of my mastermind groups because he was kind of stuck in a bit of Groundhog Day as well. I was going to call him John, in IT services business. And he was telling us at one of the meetings that his Groundhog Day was a bit like this. He'd, work, go home maybe 6 o'clock. He'd have dinner with his family, put the kids to bed. And then at 9 o'clock, he'd open up his laptop on the kitchen table and he was doing quotes and pricing work. And he was doing this was his pattern, 4 or 5 days a week, bringing the laptop home and finishing the quotes and pricing jobs on the kitchen table. He didn't want to be doing this. So what happens in the group is John threw the question out to the other members of the group, brainstorm ideas, came up with a few ideas, and then I get John to pick a few actions. So he picked actions and he came back the following month and he updated us. And his actions were that he'd freed up some time. He delegated some work he was doing to other people in the office to free up some time. He committed to getting his quotes done by 1 o'clock every day. And then he was going to leave the laptop at home. Leave the laptop in the office. So great news. John came along the following month and he'd actually made those changes in his business. So what it meant is that when he got home in the evening, instead of putting the kids to bed and doing work on the kitchen table, he'd actually stopped doing that. So it meant he had better quality time with his family. And he was delighted with that. And it's a story that's always kind of stuck in my mind because it's just a good example of what can happen in the groups we run, that you get the brainstorming, you get some fresh ideas from other people. You come into the group, you pick somebody 3 actions. Here's what I'm going to do in the next month to try and overcome this challenge. And then you come back and you update the group. And the accountability is brilliant. We have the actions on the screen. During your 20 minutes slot at the following meeting, you update the group. I said, I'm not going to say everybody gets everything done every month, gets all their actions done, but there's a pretty good hit rate. And I think people generally get more important things done than they would without it, we'll say, right? So let's just say, I was just going to see if we can get Bill Murray back up here. Oh, there he is. There's Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. What is your Groundhog Day or Groundhog tasks? Are there things you're doing in your business that just get repeated over and over again and you want to change them? I'm not saying you have to join a mastermind group, but maybe do something different. I certainly know it worked for John in terms of changing bringing that work home. And that's just one example. There's lots of other examples of things you can do in your business. So maybe consider shaking things up a bit and getting out of this rut of your Groundhog Day if you're stuck in one. Okay, thanks for listening.